Down goes Annihilape. We're going to trust in Shadow Aurorus with a Protect Shield to clean up. The opponent not wanting to concede a farm down. Send back out the Snail, and this is the easiest shield of my GBL career. The opponent forced my final Protect Shield and lower my attack, but Shadow Aurorus might have a little something to say about that Meteor Beam. Going to be removing the Snail from the field of play and buffing my attack back up to normal. The opponent taking a long time to send something out. Are you weak, trainer? Out comes Pidgeot, and we all know how this one's going to end. Pidgeot going to be straight in and straight out. Welcome back to the channel. It was a matter of time before I had to get my lazy ass out of retirement and head back to battle, because we have some new Shadow Pokemon in the world of Pokemon Go, and of course I've got to try them out. I recently acquired a very good rank Shadow Aurorus, but had no idea what to run with it. Whilst on night shift on my lunch break last night, I was scrolling through Twitter and I come across a team from fellow content creator that was right up my alley. Firstly, credit where credit's due, a huge shout out to TJ for this incredible team. He's one of my favourite Twitch streamers. I 100% recommend that you should go check him out. Because much like this team, he's always running crazy, glassy teams, often triple shadow teams, and he is so much fun to watch. Season 22 has been a bit of a weird one for me. I haven't enjoyed this season whatsoever, mostly due to game state issues. As you can tell, we're still stuck in Veteran, which is quite bad for me at this point in the season. We're normally always Legend or at least Expert. However, using TJ's team, we was able to go on a 10-game win streak, a perfect 10-0, and we are now in the 2800s. Without any further ado, let's get into the battles. And in game 1, we lead Shadow Aurorus into Jumpluff. Our target has been acquired. Our Powder Snow damage hitting for double super effective. The opponent save switches into Furret, and here comes Annihilape. RPS for the win, baby. Don't hate the player, hate the game. If every basic bitch is going to run this core with Grumpig in the back, I'm going to counter it. Well, actually, shout out TJ for this incredible team, because if you're running that team against this team, trust me, you're just going to lose. I went for the one shield, a full counter farm down. As we're running Ice Punch, no, we're going to force our Protect Shield back or find ourselves in a 3 versus 1 scenario. The opponent seeing the Ice Punch, they shield the second, look for that Fairy Wind farm down, and Annihilape like, nah, trainer, I am still not done. Gonna fire off the Rage Fist, forcing the opponent's final Protect Shield. This clearly tells me they've got Energy Ball. However, I already think I know what's in the back, so trainer, enjoy yourself. Right on cue, we get Energy Ball to the face. There's the Grumpig, and we send out Gator. Gator, with that shield to hide behind, going to be in a very comfortable position to clean up. I'm just going to shield up the Dynamic Punch, over farm, to a point where only one Shadow Claw off the next Hydro Cannon. One Hydro Cannon will remove Grumpig from the field of play, and then when Jumpluff does return, it's very quickly going to meet the same fate. The opponent recognises the game's over, and they concede the match. Heading into the next battle, well, that is not the lead we're looking for. We're going to utilise Shadow Gator on the safe switch. The opponent farms to a close combat. If they've got it, we're not respecting it. I think most Primeape are actually on Ice Punch because just how common Jumpluff is in this meta. The opponent fire off the Rage Fist. Gator grinning away, withstands the damage, fires off the Hydro Cannon forced to Protect Shield. The opponent then throw on CMP. I was thinking, should I shield this? But then I'm like, nah, we're just going to trust in Annihilape with an energy lead or Aurorus with that shield advantage to clean up. I send out Annihilape. The opponent pivots out into Grumpig. I'm going to fire off the Rage Fist. Rage Fist going to do around half the health and then put him in a position where we can one shield, fully Powder Snow farm down and leave with residual energy good to go. Shadow Aurorus hits the field of play. Can we get that Powder Snow farm down before the next Dynamic Punch is reached? Yes, we can, and we leave absolutely loaded. Primeape hasn't got a move quite yet, so if I see Primeape come in, I'm going to look to instantly knock him out with the Weather Ball. Back out comes Primeape. Is the opponent going to burn the final Protect Shield? No, they don't. They're saving the final shield for a Shadow Dust Noir, and this suddenly gets complicated. I farm to the Meteor Beam bait with the Weather Ball. Does the opponent call the bait? They do not. We're only 2 Powder Snows off the Meteor Beam. We withstand the Astonish damage, reach that big beam, and that's going to be all she wrote. GG's. Heading into the next battle, Aurorus into Hakamo-O, a commanding lead. Although we do have to be mindful, they've got access to Brick Break, which is double super effective damage. The opponent sends out Grumpig, and Gator hits the field of play. The opponent allows me to fire off the Hydro Cannon first, forcing the first Protect Shield of the game. The opponent ended up playing to CMP. They are going to outpace me to the next move. If they allow me to throw the next Hydro Cannon, I'll take my shield advantage. If they throw before, like they do here, I'm just going to Shadow Claw farm them all the way down, because if Hakamo-O returns, trust me, they're going to be straight in and straight out. Let's see what comes out. I'm not going to blind Ice Beam. The opponent sends out Furret. We throw one Shadow Claw and the Hydro Cannon, and we are now doubled up. The first one goes unshielded. The opponent catches the second, but that more than works for me. I'm just going to wait for myself to get farmed down. Send out Aurorus. I'm going to go straight for the Weather Ball. The opponent's got a decision to make. They can either shield this up or we're in a 2 versus 1 scenario. Either way, I think we're home and dry. The opponent invests that Protect Shield. They're going to fire off the Brick Break. Brick Break, not the best move, as someone forgot to tell Aurorus. Double super effective. We get knocked out, but Annihilape hits the field of play. Going to be able to fully counter farm down, leaving very close to the Ice Punch. Ice Punch won't quite be lethal. We're going to counter farm down before they reach the Trailblaze and take that game. Heading into the next battle. Shadow Aurorus into the Snail. I'm going to throw 1 Powder Snow, transfer the Incinerate onto Gator and see what the opponent wants to do. The opponent sends out Jumpluff. I think most people here would bait. I'm not really that player. I full send the Ice Beam. Trainer, you've got 2 choices. Give me that shield or we'll just cleanly knock out. The opponent invests that Protect Shield. Gator has done its job, obtaining me a shield advantage, and the opponent fire off the Energy Ball. So of course Aurorus does have to be mindful of that. I could throw the Weather Ball on CMP, but what I'm actually going to do is I'm going to shield once and then CMP the second time and making sure I'm at almost 100 energy before I look to remove them from the field of play. At this point I'm actually capped at the maximum 100 energy ball. Weather Ball picks up the knockout. The opponent sends back out the Snail and we are not baiting. I full send the Meteor Beam. Meteor Beam forces the opponent's final Protect Shield, revealing they must be weak in the back. I remember this battle well, so the opponent now 2 Incinerates off the next move. I should always throw 4 Powder Snows, because the second Incinerate will not register until turn 9, so I could have had a free 16 energy, a very bad misplay on my part, and out comes Oranguru. Despite me not playing optimally there in that mid-game matchup, I have got myself back in the game. I bank the Weather Ball, make the catch the Brutal Swing, and sneak the counter, which is going to allow me to win this game. It means we can fire off this Rage Fist before the next Confusion registers, and put them into Weather Ball range. I made my life far more complicated than it needs to be, but we managed to get the job done. GG's to that opponent. Heading into the next battle, we lead Shadow Aurorus into Palkia. Not actually the worst matchup for the opponent, as they're only taking Nooch from Ice. However, they say no thank you, say switch into Grumpig, and Gator hits the field of play. We've seen this one play out previously. I'm going to shield the Dynamic Punch, I'm going to overfarm, fire off the Hydro Cannon, and see what the opponent wants to do. If the opponent shields this, I'm just going to double shield a fully farm down, knowing an Ice Beam, despite only being neutral, Shadow and Shadow Crime would definitely knock out Palkia. Gator looking for that farm down, which we're able to get, and we leave absolutely loaded. Back out comes Palkia, and there is no baiting. Does the opponent respect the damage? They do not. Down goes Palkia, and out comes the opponent's own Aurorus. We're going to fire off the Hydro Cannon. Hydro Cannon will be forcing the final Protect Shield. Switch timers up, we send out Ape, and this one is just simply over. The opponent's going to be forced to throw Weather Balls, as Meteor Beam is resisted by a sub-fighting type-in. We fire off the Rage Fist. Rage Fist, of course, from this range, easily going to get the job done, and we take that game. I was finally able to remove frustration off my Shadow Palkia. I quite like that team from the opponents. If you want to see me run it, post it down below. Heading into the next battle, we see some crazy spice. Shadow Ursaring. This thing's ranked really high. These are actually my first battles, but I haven't seen any other content creator feature it or play against it. I force a Protect Shield with the Weather Ball, send out Annihilape, trying to catch a Trailblaze. They could have Trailblaze, they could have Play Rough, or even Close Combat. I think Trailblaze or Close Combat's more likely. I don't really see what Play Rough's going to do for you in this meta. The opponent bank all their energy and send out Swalot. This is by no means a bad matchup for Ape. Despite them being a poison type, Mudshot not doing much fast move pressure, and they're forced to go for the Ice Beam. We shoot at the Ice Beam, overfarm, fire off the Rage Fist, removing them from the field of play, and out comes Metachan. I attempt to throw on CMP to an Ice Punch, but the opponent smartly overfarms. The boosted Rage Fist forces the opponent's final Protect Shield. I anticipated the opponent look to catch the next Rage Fist onto Ursaring. They do not. We bank the Rage Fist, make the Ice Punch catch, back onto Gator, baiting back out the Big Bear. My path to victory should be quite straightforward. We're just going to sacrifice Gator. The opponent fire off the Swift. We're just going to knock this thing out with Aurorus, and of course we've got a Rage Fist banked. I'm going to respect the Trailblaze or Close Combat. There's the Close Combat. We managed to Powder Snow farm down. The opponent going to knock me out with the Dynamic Punch. We've got a move bank, so if the opponent didn't know that, they're very quickly going to find out. Annihilape hits the field of play, goes straight for the Rage Fist, and we take that game. Shout out to that opponent as well, running a very unique team I haven't seen anyone else run. In the next battle, we see the Snail in the lead position. The opponent stays in. I see the Incinerate come through, so I'm going to throw on CMP. It is a bit risky, but I had no intention of shielding this anyway. We are able to force ourselves an early shield advantage. I'm not interested in shielding Gator. One Rock Tomb is survivable. The opponent throw one further Incinerate and then send out their own Gator. An opposing Gator is quite problematic for this team. My own Gator is my best answer, and we're already knocked out. Aurorus will be hitting for resisted with a Powder Snow damage. Annihilape can hit for neutral with the oppressive counter damage, but in return, I'm taking super effective from the Shadow Claws. I send out Annihilape. I'm going to shield the first Hydro Cannon. My Annihilape's got crazy wonky IVs. It's very attack weighted. So despite this being an IV dependent CMP type, I anticipate winning CMP, and I do exactly that, forcing the final Protect Shield of the game. I'm more than happy to let Annihilape go down and trust in a shielded Aurorus to clean up, the opponent not wanting to concede a farm down. I send back out the Snail, and this is the easiest shield of my GBL career. Opponent fire off the Rock Tomb, forcing my final Protect Shield and lowering my attack. But Shadow Aurorus might have a little something to say about that. Meteor Beam, going to be massive overkill and unset that debuff. Feraligatr is nothing more than a sacrificial swap. Trainer, what is that third? The opponent sends out Pidgeot. Poor old Pidgeot going to be straight in and straight out. Meteor Beam easily picks up the one shot. We're going to Powder Snow farm down Gator and take that game. Heading into the next battle. What the hell is that on my screen? This is a huge problem for my backline. It's not like Aurorus is particularly much better into it either, as most people that run Shadow Draft Rig are just going to shield everything, and the confusion damage is tearing me apart. They farm to the Trailblaze. I'm really hoping they Psychic Fang, because if they do, Psychic Fang won't be lethal and I'll be able to reach the next Weather Ball. I'm really hoping the opponent just let it go. Come on, trainer, do me a favour. The opponent goes down both Protect Shields, which is usually a good position to be in. But yeah, we've got a Shadow Claw user or a fighter. I guess now would be a good time to start investing Protect Shields. We shield up the Psychic Fangs. The confusion damage is absolutely disgusting. The opponent save the draft and send out another confusion user. You've got to be kidding me. 3 further Shadow Claws and the next Hydro Cannon. Finally removing Oranguru from the field of play, and I really need to reset this debuff. I'm spamming the switch into Annihilape, hoping I can counter farm down the draft if it returns before the Psychic Fangs reach. Unfortunately, I can't do that. I'm now going to be switch locked. With no way of resetting this debuff for about 30 seconds and no shields to hide behind. Out comes Metachan, and this is not looking good. I attempt to throw the Rage Fist on CMP. The opponent smartly take the extra Psycho Cut. Ice Punch will be removing me from the field of play, and we're going to need to hope Gator can reach a charge move. The opponent go for the Bad Manners Dynamic Punch. Trainer, what are you doing? I reckon this person was probably streaming on Discord saying, I'm going to give Jamie Finn some bad manners, and it did not work out for them. I'm not complaining. GG's. Heading into the next battle, we see Ferret in the lead position. So for complete transparency, these are sets 2 and 3 I played with the team. The first set I went 1 and 4. I saw 2 Ferret leads and both baited me with Swifts. Hence I instantly no shield, looking to call the bait. The opponent once again thinking, Shadow Aurorus, that trainer's going to shield everything. Not today, trainer. I've been baited enough. I force in the Meteor Beam, forcing the Protect Shield. As we're boosted, we're just going to settle for the Weather Ball. Weather Ball still puts him into the red health range, and the opponent is going to be forced to throw. Ferret and Grumpig are like 2 bomb chums, so I'm feeling pretty good about the situation. We're just going to send out Annihilape, look to counter farm down. Of course we get denied coming in, because why would you not? This game is such a mess, man. It doesn't really make too much difference. We take 1 single Sucker Punch that we didn't need to take. We send out Gator into Jumpluff, and out comes Big Man Blastoise. I'm going to shoot at the first Hydro Cannon, despite knowing it's only a Hydro Cannon, just looking to keep health. Then 1 Shadow Claw and the Hydro Cannon, 1 further Shadow Claw and the next Hydro Cannon. The opponent still has 1 shield. Where do they invest it? The opponent opts to shield here. If they farm to the Skull Bash, I will respect it, but they don't do that, so this can only be a Hydro Cannon. I'm then going to look to bank as much energy as I physically can before sending out Annihilape. We both end up Simul swapping Jumpluff into Annihilape. Shadow on Shadow Crime. The opponent allows me to reach the Ice Punch. It's going to be high Jumpluff, bye Jumpluff. Remove yourself from my screen, and we take that game. Heading into the next battle, we see Toxapex in the lead position. The poison jabs are resisted. Rock, an awful defensive typing, but does resist poison. I'm going to farm to the Meteor Beam, try to catch the brine onto Gator. My opponent holds their energy, and we now get Sludge Wave to the face. The opponent now sends out Ferret. They are going to get a massive Sucker Punch farm down, but we're going to reach the departing Hydro Cannon, putting them below half health. I can just send out Ape. I could go for the 1 shield and farm down, or I could just tank the Trailblaze. I think we're going to trust in Aurorus to do some work. I just powered it up, and I want to give it all the chance it can, so we're saving both shields for the big long neck dinosaur. We counter farm down, I bank the Rage Fist, pivot back into Aurorus. We go straight for the Meteor Beam. Meteor Beam won't be lethal, but does do a lot. The opponent then pivots into the mirror. I'm going to farm to the Meteor Beam, bait with the Weather Ball. I don't often bait, but I think this is always going shielded. As we baited him, The opponent's going to have to bait as well to try and catch up. Trainer, Meteor Beam me, I dare you. I thought not. They go for the Weather Ball. This can only be a Weather Ball. We're going to shield this one up though. Fire off the next Meteor Beam. After forcing the opponent's final Protect Shield, we're going to look to snipe with Annihilape. Of course, they could let this go. Let's see what the opponent wants to do. They do invest that final Protect Shield. The opponent anticipates the combo play, but this works for me. We need to remove Toxapex anyway. We've still got a shield intact. We're going to counter farm down Toxapex, counter farm down Aurorus, and take that game. And that is going to draw to a close set number 2, where washed up Jamie Finn Pogo has finally hit expert rank in season 22 of the Go Battle League. That's not quite the end of the video yet. We've got 2 bonus battles from some sets I played after hitting expert. In the first battle, what a lead. We see Aurorus into Clodsire, the opponent interesting enough staying in, which can only mean they've got something else that doesn't want to see Aurorus. We're going to fire off the Weather Ball. A Stone Edge would be survivable. The opponent farms the Earthquake, which I will be respecting. Who does not love to bait a Shadow Pokemon? They sludge bomb me like an absolute savage. I'm going to farm up, throw the next Weather Ball on the CMP type to the next Earthquake. Weather Ball forced the Protect Shield, and I'm just going to shield and look to fully Powder Snow farm down. Logically, this one has to be the Earthquake. The opponent isn't going to reach 2 further moves, so baiting would do nothing for him. The opponent does force in the Earthquake. We leave completely loaded and outcome superior. This cannot be your best answer for a loaded Aurorus. The first Weather Ball goes unshielded superior, getting torn apart with a Powder Snow damage, and we've even got 2 further Weather Balls. The first one forced to Protect Shield. Aurorus says, don't worry buddy, we've got another one locked and loaded. Aurorus absolutely popping off. The opponent sends out the Kentucky Fried Chicken, Bird of Death, Quick Switch into Gator, and the opponent runs for the hills. GG's and thanks for playing. Heading into the final battle of the video, we see a fantastic lead. The opponent save switches into Big Man Blastoise. I'm going to bank some energy and send out Annihilape. We're going to tank 1 Hydro Cannon, shield 1 Hydro Cannon. I'm then going to Rage Fist, look to counter farm down, and boosted Ice Punch Jumpluff to the face. At least that's the plan anyway. So I'm going to shield this Hydro Cannon up. I'm going to throw 1 counter and the Rage Fist. Oh my days. What was that? So much lag. People ask me why I don't bother trying to rank up anymore. I just get annoyed playing, to be honest. That was horrendous. So my plan doesn't work whatsoever. We leave down a Protect Shield without switch advantage. Thankfully, Aurorus is ABA strong into the team. Out comes Cradilly. We fire off the first Weather Ball, 1 Powder Snow, and the next Weather Ball. The opponent now receiving the energy for the Rock Tomb. However, I'm going to anticipate and throwing at good timing. So 1 Powder Snow and look to catch onto Gator. This is a rare scenario where I'm going to try and make lag, not get me tilted, and not go completely off the rails. We throw 4 Shadow Claws and the Hydro Cannon. The opponent's kind of obliged to let this go, and they do exactly that. We now find ourselves in the 1-to-1 shield. Out comes Jumpluff. When I receive the energy for the Ice Beam, we're going to pause a turn, anticipate the catch. No catch today, trainer. We leave with the Ice Beam. Ice Beam forces the opponent's final Protect Shield. Unfortunately, they're going to get a massive Fairy Wind farm down. It now comes down to whether they've got Energy Ball or not. I'm going to respect the first move. Let's see what it is. It's just the acrobatics, so this game is signed, sealed, and delivered. Weather Ball, despite being double super effective, isn't going to be lethal, but acrobatics is resisted and likewise simply not going to get the job done. Someone at Niantic, someone at Scopely, please fix this game. It is so bloody annoying to play. However, let's try not to go too off topic, so that just about wraps things up for today's shoutcast of my own battles. I'll be honest, despite game state issues still being very apparent, I had so much fun running this team. I'd highly recommend trying it out yourself if you're looking to rank up. So if you're enjoying the content, smash that like button. If you're new, consider subscribing if you'd like your battles featured on my channel. A link to a battle submission form is down below. And as always, a huge thanks for watching, and I'll see you all in the next one.